Senator Mark Kelly joins us now. He served the great state of Arizona since 2020. Thank you, Senator. I appreciate you joining.
Good to be on, Don. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator, can we talk about freedom of, well, first of all, the First Amendment, but specifically for me, freedom of the press in this country? I believe that that is in jeopardy. When you heard about what happened to me, what was your reaction?
Well, it's just another, more egregious behavior and a line that I didn't think they would cross. They crossed the line with me, with my First Amendment freedom of speech rights. I didn't think they would lock up a journalist doing his job. Uh, but um, they're willing to take some steps that are deep into the authoritarian playbook. And it's really disturbing and it's troubling and it's dangerous. And I really worry about the future of our democracy if this continues. I mean, freedom of the press, religion, freedom of speech, they're ticking through them here with regards to the First Amendment, but, the others, going into people's homes without warrants, taking away due process from people. Now we have these roaming bands of ICE agents just violating people's rights across the country.
I saw you on with my colleague, my former colleague, Aaron Burnett, and when I saw your comment, I heard your comments, I said, we have to get the senator on because I agree with you. This is not just about me. This is about the trying to chill free speech and trying to chill journalists and journalism and journalists because they don't want those pictures getting out there.
Yeah, not you specifically. You're just an example that they want to send to all journalists. They want to get that reporter out there, whether it's some young, brand new person out of journalism school or some person that's been doing this for 30 years, 40 years, to make a decision not to write the story, not to ask the question, not to go to the place where they can get the information so they can share it with the American people so we can continue to have a democracy beyond this 250 years. They're trying to chill free speech, First Amendment speech rights, but freedom of the press is so critical. I mean, these two things, speech and the press, holds it all together. And some of these other rights that we have flow out of that. Without accurate information, how can the American people make any decisions about what the future of this country should be if they do not know what's going on?
True, 100%. But also, I think in that, just trying to chill the press, I believe they're trying to instill fear. Because I'll tell you, personally, for me, that I've spoken about it, when I heard them, banting my name about on Fox News and conservative channels and what have you, it's like, first of all, why are they, why do I have the government or the Department of Justice talking about me publicly before they've even filed anything? My attorneys reached out to them to self-report, to turn myself in, the same convenience and courtesy that Donald Trump got when he was indicted. But they didn't allow that. Instead, they sent a bunch of agents in the middle of the night to arrest me, which is a waste of taxpayer dollars. Do you think it is about fear and intimidation? Because they tried to intimidate you, didn't they? They tried to demote you, right?
100%. Not about the law. You were not violating the law. You were doing your job. This is to send a message to every journalist out there that isn't one of their sycophants, that they should stop doing their jobs because they view you and me as the opposition. And if you're not with this president, he looks at you as the enemy. And he is taking steps to try to chill and stop us from, doing, what we are hired to do. I'm a sitting U.S. Senator. I'm on the Armed Services Committee. My job is accountability over the Department of Defense. I'm also on the Intelligence Committee. So I have a role there as well. They didn't like what I said. And they, immediately this president said I should be hanged. And what I said was truthful. I repeated what was in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. He said I should be hanged, executed, prosecuted. And then I get a letter of censure from the Secretary of Defense, who has said they've been watching what I've been saying, not just in that video, but for basically a six-month period. And if I continue to say things that they don't like, they will prosecute me criminally, like they're trying to do to you right now. Apparently, one of my egregious things that I did, according to the Secretary of Defense, was I said I would always stick up for the Constitution. That was in my censure letter. As one of my offenses was that I would always stand with the Constitution. It's one of the most ridiculous things I've ever seen on a letter sent to me.
Can you speak to the difficulty and what it does to you and your family to be targeted by the Department of Justice and this administration? And I think about all of the people who don't have agency like you and I do, and who are being rounded up on the streets without due process. Their families don't know where they're going. They don't have resources. If they're doing this to us, and it hurts us, and it's hard. Imagine how those folks feel who are out there, who are just U.S. citizens, or even if they're undocumented, going about their daily lives, and then all of a sudden they disappear or they're deported.
Yeah, well, they've deported U.S. citizens. They've deported
Hmm.
undocumented people have served in the military, in some cases for years, and then thrown them out of the country. Like, no respect for their service. I spent 25 years in the United States Navy. I fought in combat to defend the country and the Constitution. There are people like me, that risk their lives in the same way, that have now been thrown out of our, sent somewhere else because this administration doesn't want them anymore. And it's outrageous. And Don, it's got to stop. But it's not going to stop unless we continue to speak out about it. And I really hope that, despite the chilling effect that it has on journalists, what happened to you, I also know that there are others out there that it will get them to double down and continue to do their jobs. It'll chill some, but there'll be some people that'll step up. They'll step up at this moment because our democracy is really on the line here. And these roving bands of ICE agents just routinely now just violating people's constitutional rights is, I think it's unprecedented in our country's history. We're trying to do something about it. We have the ability here in the United States Congress to take away their funding, to force this agency to overhaul itself. People should be fired. Kristi Noem should be fired. Right now I think she's down at the border in Arizona, in Nogales, or will be there today. She should be packing her bags. The leadership of ICE should be fired. The agency needs to be right-sized, and they need to be given the correct mission. And it doesn't need to be the size of the Marine Corps. It doesn't need $75 billion. But I think this president is, trying to live up to what he said he was going to do, which was mass deportation. On one hand. On the other hand, he said he was just going to deport criminals and gang members. So obviously there's a conflict there. But considering everything that's happened in Minneapolis, and him sending Tom Homan there to reform, to change what was going to, happen in the streets there, well, that doesn't seem to be having much of an effect. So I think he's getting what he wants out of this, which is to continue to divide our country. I mean, this guy has the exact opposite instincts of every other president who has ever served, which is at every opportunity, he looks to divide us, not bring us together.
Do you think that you mentioned Kristi Noem, that she should resign or be fired? Do you think that they will ever suffer any consequences or face any justice, and that including the guys, most of the men who are out there picking people up without due process?
Well, I think the other day they ruled Alex Preddy shooting as a homicide.
Hmm.
We're a country of laws. We should follow the rule of law. I know this administration doesn't like that, but I think for some of these individuals, I think there will be consequences for their actions.
Yeah. Before I let you go, I want to ask you about elections. Donald Trump is saying that he wants to federalize or nationalize elections, that he wants to take over the elections in Minnesota. You see what's happening in Forsyth County, Georgia. Are you concerned about free and fair elections in this country?
Well, very, and the nationalizing of the elections, that comment got a lot of attention. What really struck me was the thing he said next, which he wants Republicans to get control of the elections in 15 states. I mean, what the hell is that? He wants the Republican Party to control the election apparatus, the process, the way we vote, the way we count ballots. He wants one party to do this. Well, it's pretty clear what he wants to do is he wants to put his finger on the scale. And why did he grab all those ballots out of Fulton County? I think I know. He's going to do some kind of audit, and then he's going to, decide ahead of time what he wants that audit to show. And then he's going to again say that he won the election in 2020, which he didn't. 60 court
Hmm.
cases he lost. He didn't win a single court case on his accusations about the election being stolen. Not one. Republican judges judges that were nominated by Republicans reviewed these cases. He didn't win one of these lawsuits.
Last question. When I saw the former leader, Nancy Pelosi, this weekend, I asked her if she thought we were going to have a fair election in 2026, and she said yes. Do you believe we're going to have a fair election in 2026? Because it appears to me that a lot of these actions that the Trump administration is doing, it's because they want to take over the elections and they want to at least try to suppress the vote, but they want to take over the elections as well. Do you think we're going to have a free and fair election in 2026?
Well, I mean, I guess the good news is our founding fathers saw this coming. They knew that at some
Mm.
point in our country's history, we would have a wannabe authoritarian, somebody, Donald Trump, somebody like him who's going to try to do this stuff. But I mean, just look at Arizona for a second. You got 15 counties. Each of these counties has its own process with, um, folks that run the election process. Um, the guy in Maricopa County, the Republican, Steve Richer, last election cycle kind of held it all together for us. It wasn't going to be intimidated, was going to follow the process and follow the law. He was the Maricopa County recorder. So in Arizona, we got 15 of those people. It's really hard to do. I mean, I think the president, has said some things that are really, really concerning. He has shown the American people who he is. He has shown that he is still mourning his loss in 2020 and refuses to accept it because of his enormous narcissism and his ego. But to actually do it is going to be challenging. So I think, if the American people call this administration out on this bullshit about what they're trying to do, I think we're going to win. The Democrats are going to win the House. I think we have a chance of winning back the Senate. But this stuff builds on itself, and it's going to get harder. And what happens in January of 2029 or in 2028 if Donald Trump doesn't like the outcome of the presidential election? What's going to happen then? What is he going to do?
Mm-hmm.
So I am very concerned, but I understand what Nancy is saying. And I think she realizes that what Donald Trump is starting to put in motion here is a rather challenging thing to do.
Yeah. Thank you, Senator. I really appreciate you joining us. Please come back, okay? And
All
take
right,
care.
anytime, Don. And
Thank you.
good luck with your case.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And I appreciate the support. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Your support means the world to us. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe so you never miss a show. We're live every weekday at 10 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern Time with new clips dropping at 2 p. and 8 p. And if you want even more Don Lemon Show content, join the Lemon community. Members get exclusive posts, behind-the-scenes videos, and live chats just for you. So hit the join button or visit our channel page to sign up. Thanks again for all your love and your support, and I'll see you next time.